Chapter 1. My secret bride. I still remember the day I signed my name beside hers. The room was quiet. The government clerk barely looked up, and yet my heart was thundering as if the entire world had witnessed it 3 years ago. I became the husband of Shinu, the nation's beloved film queen, not in front of cameras, not beneath golden lights, but in a dusty office with no one to cheer. "Are you sure you want to do this?" she whispered as she pressed her pen to the paper. I smiled, my hands trembling. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Her eyes softened, but even then, there was hesitation. I told myself it was because she was afraid of her career crashing down if the world found out. I convinced myself love was enough to silence my doubts. From that day, I became her hidden shadow. No one knew I existed. The headlines screamed of her beauty, her box office records, her magazine covers. Meanwhile, I was the man making breakfast for her when she dragged herself home at 3 a.m., exhausted from filming. "Don't post anything," she warned me again and again. Not a picture, not even a hint. I laughed it off. "Do you think I want the entire internet tearing me apart? I'm happy just having you here." She kissed me lightly, but even that felt stolen, like something borrowed that had to be returned. Before sunrise died at first, I thought I could live with it. After all, who wouldn't be proud to love a woman the entire nation adored? But slowly, the pride turned into a strange kind of ache. Her phone never left her side. She'd smile at it, sometimes in a way she never smiled at me. When I reached for it once, half joking, she pulled it back so quickly I froze. "Don't," she said sharply, then softened her tone. "Work stuff. You wouldn't understand." I forced a grin. "Right, you're the star. I'm just the ordinary husband." She looked at me then, as if she wanted to explain something, but the words never came. Instead, she pressed a kiss on my forehead and went to sleep. In those early years, I told myself this was sacrifice. That love demanded patience. When she came home smelling like stage makeup and fatigue, I welcomed her with warm soup and silence. When reporters snapped pictures of her laughing with male co-stars, I clenched my fists and told myself it was just acting. "Don't you get jealous?" she teased me once. After a particularly scandalous scene of hers hit the tabloids, I forced a laugh. "Of course not. You're my wife. They can only dream." But inside, jealousy burned like acid. Because in public, she belonged to everyone but me. There were rare moments when I felt she was truly mine. On rainy nights when she curled up beside me and whispered, "I wish I could stay like this forever." Or when she traced circles on my chest and murmured, "You're the only one who makes me feel safe." Those words kept me alive. They made me believe I wasn't just a ghost in her world of lights. Still, the cracks were there. I felt them every time she avoided introducing me to anyone from her circle. I noticed it when she told her driver to drop her off the streets away, so no paparazzi would see her walking toward my place. Why do we have to live like fugitives? I asked her once, frustration leaking into my voice. Her lips trembled. "Because if they find out, everything I've built will collapse. Please don't make me choose between you and my career." I wanted to scream that she didn't need to choose, that we could be both. But looking at her fragile expression, I swallowed the words. Instead, I nodded. "I'll wait as long as you need." And so I waited. Days turned into months, into years. 3 years of being invisible. 3 years of holding my breath every time her name trended on mine. 3 years of telling myself that one day she would claim me. But even as I whispered those promises to myself, a voice deep inside kept asking, if she really loved me, why was I still a secret? The thought haunted me, but I buried it. I buried it every time she came home with tears in her eyes. Every time she clung to me as though I was the only anchor in her storm. "I couldn't do this without you," she whispered one night, her voice trembling. I kissed her hair. "Then don't ever let me go." But a part of me feared she already had. Chapter 2. The cracks begin distance didn't happen all at once. It was slow, like a glass filling drop by drop until it overflows. At first, I told myself she was just tired. Then I told myself she was stressed. But deep down, I knew something was breaking. She stopped looking me in the eye when she came home. She tossed her bag on the couch, collapsed into bed, and scrolled through her phone for hours. I'd sit beside her, pretending to watch TV, but really watching her thumb glide across the screen. "Who are you talking to?" I asked one night, keeping my voice casual. She didn't even glance up. "Just my manager, Manager Chen, MMHM. I leaned closer. "You smile when you text him." Her fingers froze for a second before she locked her phone. "You're overthinking. Don't start." I laughed weakly. Maybe I am. But the truth was, I couldn't remember the last time she smiled at me that way. Nights grew longer. Sometimes she didn't come home at all. I'd wake up to a text at 3 a.m. Filming ran late. Stay up for me. And like a fool, I'd boil water, keep soup hot, and wait until dawn, only for her to walk in smelling of expensive perfume and exhaustion. "You could have eaten without me," she said once, staring at the untouched food. "I wanted to eat with you." She sighed, not touched, not grateful, just tired. "You make things harder for me." Those words cut deeper than she knew. I wanted to tell her all I did was wait. All I did was love her. But instead, I swallowed it, nodding like a coward. The worst part was how she started guarding her phone like it was her lifeline. Once, when she left it on the table to grab water, it buzzed. I glanced at the screen, just a name flashing. Not one I recognized. By the time she came back, I hadn't touched it. But she snatched it up like I'd committed a crime. "Don't," she snapped. I wasn't. "Don't," she repeated, softer this time, almost pleading. My chest tightened. "Shinu, is there something you're not telling me?" She looked at me then, her eyes cold, guarded. "I don't have the energy for your paranoia. If you can't trust me, maybe we shouldn't be together." The words slammed into me. My throat went dry. "You're saying you leave me because I asked about your phone?" She pressed her fingers against her temple. "I'm saying you're suffocating me." Silence filled the room. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but instead I whispered, "I'm sorry." Her expression softened for a moment, but she said nothing. She just walked past me and closed the bedroom door. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. My heart pounded as doubts clawed at me. She was slipping away, and I didn't know how to stop it. The next morning, she was all sweetness. Again, she kissed my cheek and said, "Don't frown so much. It makes you look old." I smiled, pretending everything was fine. But her words from the night before haunted me. "Maybe we shouldn't be together." One evening, I decided I couldn't keep it in anymore. I cornered her in the kitchen, my hands trembling. "Shinu, tell me the truth. Are you seeing someone else?" Her eyes widened in shock, then narrowed with anger. "Unbelievable. Do you know how insulting that is? After everything I sacrifice, after how hard I work, you think I'd cheat on you?" "I don't want to think that," I whispered. "But you're not here anymore. Not with me. Even when you're in the room, it feels like you're miles away." She slammed a glass onto the counter, the sound sharp. "You're imagining things. Maybe you can't handle being with someone like me." My throat ached. I can handle anything except being shut out. For a second, I thought I saw guilt flicker in her eyes, but it vanished as quickly as it came. She turned away, muttering, "You don't understand my world." I stood there, hands shaking, watching the woman I loved slip further into a place I couldn't reach. That night, as she curled up on the bed facing the wall, I whispered, "I just want you to choose me." She didn't answer, and the silence was louder than any truth. Chapter 3. The rising star. He first heard his name on the news. Luhan. The entertainment anchors couldn't stop gushing. His debut film had broken records. His smile was the new national treasure. His fan base was multiplying by the second. Everywhere I looked, his face stared back at me. Posters on buses, glowing billboards downtown, endless clips online that at first I didn't care. Rising stars came and went every season. But then I saw him standing beside her, my wife, my Shinu, on the red carpet. Their arms brushed, their laughter echoed, and the cameras exploded like fireworks. Social media crowned them the perfect couple, hashtags flying faster than I could scroll. I stared at my phone until my vision blurred. Perfect couple. My chest tightened. I was her husband. Yet here I was, watching strangers pair. Her with someone else. And she didn't even fight it. The night I waited for her to come home. When she finally walked through the door, I held up my phone. You and him are everywhere. Care to explain? She barely looked up. It's promotion. The company wants buzz. You think people line up to buy tickets just for me? It's about chemistry. Illusion. Chemistry. The word tasted like acid. The way you looked at him on that carpet, that wasn't illusion. Her eyes snapped to mine. Sharp. Don't start again. I'm not blind. Shinu, I see. The way he looks at you too. Like you belong to him. She set her bag down with a sigh. You're being ridiculous. He's just a kid in the industry. I'm helping him rise. That's it. Helping him rise by laughing in his arms. By letting the world think you're his. Her voice turned cold. This is work. Something you'll never understand. If you want me to succeed, stop questioning me. I swallowed hard. And if I don't stop. She turned her back. Then maybe you don't belong in this picture. The words gutted me. I wanted to scream, to shake her, to demand why my love was always something to be hidden. Instead, I just stood there, silent, while she disappeared into the bedroom. The next day, Luhan's name trended again. Photos of him holding an umbrella for her on set. Videos of them laughing between takes. Then edits calling them soulmates. I clenched my fists, scrolling until my nails dug into my palms. Soulmates. She had a husband. Me. Yet no one knew. And she didn't correct them. When she came home, I tried again. Tell me you don't feel anything for him. Just say it, and I'll believe you. She hesitated. Too long. Then finally, I don't. But her voice lacked weight, like an empty promise drifting in the wind. Look me in the eye. I said. She didn't. She just brushed past me, muttering, I don't have time for this. The crack inside me widened. A week later, I overheard Manager Chen on the phone. He didn't know I was in the next room. His voice was smug. Yes, the Luhan pairing is working perfectly. Fans are eating it up. Keep it going. I froze. Pairing. It was deliberate. A strategy. A lie sold as truth. The night I confronted her again. You're not just selling a film. You're selling yourself to him. Her jaw tightened. This is survival. Do you think I got this far by playing fair? Without tricks, without illusions, I'd be nothing. You want me to throw it all away because your pride is hurt. My voice shook. Because my marriage is real, isn't it? For a moment, I thought I saw guilt in her eyes. But then she whispered, almost as softly, you'll never understand what it takes to stay on top. And just like that, I felt myself falling from the place I thought we stood together. Asterisk Chapter 4. The wedding certificate happened on an ordinary afternoon. I was scrolling absent-mindedly through my phone. When the world tilted beneath me, the screen froze on an image. Luhan, Li Shinu, smiling, standing side by side, arms locked together. And in their hands clear as day a marriage certificate, I dropped my phone. My pulse thundered in my ears. My first thought was that it had to be fake, a stunt, a cheap publicity trick. But then I saw the seal, the date, recent, just weeks ago. My chest clenched so tightly I couldn't breathe. I scrambled for my phone again, my fingers shaking as messages flooded in. Friends, old classmates, even distant relatives. Did you see this? Isn't she your wife? What's going on? I stared at the screen until the words blurred. My wife had married another man. And she hadn't even told me. By evening, the internet had exploded. Headlines screamed her name alongside his. Fans congratulated them. Others gossiped. Everyone was talking about her fairy tale romance, the perfect couple, the golden pair. I sat alone in the dark, gripping our marriage certificate in one hand and scrolling through pictures of hers. With the other, two papers, two truths, one lie. Too many. When she finally walked through the door, I didn't greet her. I just held up my phone. Explain this. Her smile faltered. For the first time, she didn't have a rehearsed answer ready. Shinu, I said, my voice cracking. Tell me this is fate. She placed her bag down slowly. I didn't want you to find out like this. The room spun. So it's true. She shut her eyes. Yes. I staggered back as though she'd struck me. You married him. Wow. You were still my wife. It's not what you think. She whispered, not what I think. I barked out a bitter laugh. You're holding another marriage certificate. What else am I supposed to think? Tears welled in her eyes. But they only fueled my fury. Do you have any idea what it's like to see the woman I love plastered across every screen in this country claiming to be someone else's bride? While I'm nothing, a ghost. Her lips trembled. I had no choice. No choice. My voice cracked. You always had a choice. You chose him. Her hands shook as she tried to reach for me. But I pulled back. You don't understand the industry. She whispered desperately. Everything depends on image, on alliances. If I hadn't done this, everything would have collapsed. I stared at her in disbelief. So you traded me for a career boost? Her silence was the loudest answer of all. My vision blurred with rage. You could have told me. You could have at least given me the truth before you humiliated me in front of the entire world. Her tears fell freely now. I thought I could protect you by keeping you out of it. I didn't want you dragged into the mess. Protect me. My laugh was hollow. You destroyed me. You broke every vow we ever made. And now you stand there saying you did it for me. She sank into a chair, burying her face in her hands. I can't lose everything. You don't know what it's like to fight this hard just to stay alive in this business. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make her feel even a fraction of what I felt tearing me apart inside. But instead, I just whispered, and what about us? What about the life we built, hidden in the shadows? Did that mean nothing? Her voice was muffled. It meant everything. But it wasn't enough. The words cut deeper than any blade. I staggered back, clutching our marriage certificate against my chest like a shield. You were my everything. I whispered, and I was just your secret. She lifted her head, her face streaked with tears. Please don't make me choose between you and survival. But she already had. I turned away, unable to look at her anymore. You already chose. Silence hung between us, heavy and suffocating. I walked into the bedroom, shut the door, and pressed my forehead against the wood, shaking. Outside, I heard her voice break into sobs. But no matter how much she cried, nothing could drown out the truth. The woman I loved had married another man, and the world applauded her for it. And me? I was just the shadow she left behind. Chapter 5. Shattered. Luciancy didn't leave the apartment for days. Curtains closed. Phone face down. The world outside celebrated her new marriage. While I sat clutching the certificate that proved I wasn't crazy, my hands shook every time I unfolded it, as if maybe the ink would fade, as if maybe the seal would disappear and erase the lie. But it never did. Friends kept calling, some to comfort me, some to demand answers. I ignored them all. I couldn't face the questions, couldn't bear to hear my own humiliation spoken out loud. Finally, my closest friend, Wei, showed up at my door. He didn't wait for an invitation. He barged in, eyes blazing. You're just going to sit here while she plays house with another man in front of millions. I rubbed my temples. What do you want me to do? Expose her, show the world the truth. He slammed his fist on the table. You've got the certificate. You've got proof. Don't let her bury you like this. I shook my head. No one will believe me. She's a goddess. I'm a nobody. They'll call me a liar, or worse, a leech chasing fame. Wei crouched down, gripping my shoulders. So what? You'll just rot here. You'll let her erase you from her life like you never existed. His words cut deep, but I didn't answer. Later that night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. My thoughts tangled like barbed wire, every memory twisted into poison. Her laughter, once my light, now felt rehearsed. Her whispers of love, now hollow. Had it all been a performance? I clutched my phone, scrolling through headlines. Li Shinu and Luhan. A match made in heaven. Nation's sweetheart finally finds love. Fans flooded the comments with blessings, hearts, emojis. I wanted to scream, she's mine. She was mine first, but the words died in my throat. The next day, she came home. She stood in the doorway, eyes red from crying. We need to talk. I didn't look up. About your new husband, her face twisted with pain. Don't say it like that. How else should I say it? My voice cracked. The whole world thinks you belong to him, and maybe you do. She stepped closer, her hands trembling. Please, don't make this harder. I still love you. I laughed bitterly. Love? You love me so much you married someone else. Tears welled in her eyes. I had no choice. The pressure, the contracts, the investors, if I didn't play along, everything would collapse. I snapped my head toward her, fury boiling. So, I was just disposable, a hidden chapter you could tear out when it became inconvenient. Her lips quivered. You're twisting it. I wanted to protect us. I thought I could keep both worlds separate. I rose to my feet, my chest heaving. You can't separate a heart, Shinu. Either you're mine or you're not. She broke down, sobbing. I can't lose everything I worked for. You don't understand, I cut her off. No, you don't understand. You already lost me. The words hung heavy in the air. For a moment, she looked like she'd shatter completely. But then she turned away, wiping her tears. You'll regret saying that. I sank back into the chair, burying my face in my hands. My heart screamed for me to run after her, to hold her, to forgive. But my pride, my pain, chained me to the floor. After she left, Wei called again. I picked up this time. Well, he asked. She says she still loves me. My voice was hollow. And you believe that? I want to, I whispered. But how do you love someone while holding another man's certificate? Wei sighed heavily. Listen, to me, if you stay quiet, she wins. She gets to live her fairy tale while you drown in silence. You have a choice: either disappear or fight. His words echoed long after the call ended. That night, I stood in front of the mirror, staring at the wreck I'd become. Bloodshot eyes, hollow cheeks, a man who used to believe love could conquer anything. I whispered to my reflection, if I stay silent, I betray myself. The decision pressed down on me, heavy and terrifying. To expose her meant destroying her. To stay silent meant destroying myself. For the first time in 3 years, I wondered which mattered more, her survival or mine. Chapter 6, Fire of Revengai. Woke the next morning with a heaviness that felt different, not grief, not despair. Something sharper, something that burned. For 3 years I lived as a ghost. For 3 years. I swallowed silence, convincing myself love meant sacrifice. But now, silence felt like death. I pulled open the drawer where I kept the certificate, the real one. My name, her name, the date 3 years ago. Proof that I wasn't insane. Proof that I wasn't some delusional fanboy clinging to a fantasy. Proof that she had chosen me first. When Wei came over later, I slammed the paper onto the table. This is my weapon. He scanned it, his jaw tightening. Then use it. Stop waiting for her to give you permission to exist. I clenched my fists. I don't want to destroy her career. Wei leaned forward. She already destroyed her life. Do you really think she'd hesitate if the roles were reversed? His words hit harder than I wanted to admit. That evening, I decided to confront her manager, Chen. If anyone knew the truth, It was him. I waited outside her agency building until he finally appeared, his sharp suit glowing under the streetlights. I stepped into his path. "We need to talk." He raised an eyebrow, sneering. "Oh, the hidden husband." The word stung, but I held my ground. "You know what she did. You know she's still my wife." Chin chuckled, lighting a cigarette. "Wife, do you think anyone cares about a piece of paper? The world only cares about what it sees. And right now, it sees her with Luhan. That's reality. You're nothing." My blood boiled. "I'll show the world who I am." He exhaled smoke into my face. "Do it. You look like a bitter parasite, dragging down a goddess because you couldn't keep her. No one will side with you. You'll drown." I grabbed his arm, my voice trembling with rage. "She made vows to me. You can't erase that." He yanked free, smirking. "Watch me. You don't belong in this story. Stay hidden or be crushed." He walked away, leaving me shaking in the shadows. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, his words echoing. "Nothing. Bitter parasite. Stay hidden." But then I looked again at the certificate in my hand, my name printed beside hers. The memories came rushing back, her whispering, "I wish I could stay like this forever." Her promise, "You're the only one who makes me feel safe." Maybe she'd forgotten. Maybe she wanted to erase me. But I remembered, and I refused to be erased. Wei called. "What did he say?" I laughed bitterly. "He said I'm nothing, and now I'll prove him wrong." I spent hours digging through old messages, photos, little fragments of our life together, pictures of us on the couch, her in my hoodie, late night texts where she called me my anchor, evidence she couldn't deny. Every image felt like a blade, reminders of what we were, what we'd lost. But with each blade, I built armored up. Wei came over and watched me pile everything on the table. "You're really going through with this?" "Yes." My voice was steady now. "If they build her empire on lies, I'll tear it down with truth." He studied me for a long moment, then nodded. "Then be ready. Once this starts, there's no going back." I stared at the certificate one last time, tracing her name with my finger. My chest ached, but the ache no longer paralyzed me. It pushed me forward. When my phone buzzed with a message from her, "Can we talk? Please. Don't do anything rash." I didn't answer. For 3 years, I had bent myself into silence for her sake. Now, for the first time, I would speak for mine. And when I did, the world would hear me. Chapter 7. Truth Unleashed. Night I released it. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. I sat at my desk, the marriage certificate scanned and glowing on my screen. Proof. My name. Her name. 3 years ago. Wei stood beside me. "Once you hit send, there's no turning back." "I know. You're sure?" I stared at the document, every line a reminder of the life we'd hidden. For years I had begged for scraps of recognition, for even a whisper that I mattered. She denied me, lied to me, married another man on paper. "I'm sure," I whispered. My finger pressed the button. In an instant, it was gone, fired into the storm of the internet. Within minutes, my phone buzzed nonstop. Notifications, messages, calls. The post spread like wildfire. 2 certificates, 2 husbands, 2 truths colliding. Headlines erupted. Film Queen Li Shinu exposed in double marriage scandal. Anonymous source leaks marriage certificate is Luhan not the only husband. Comments flooded in. "This has to be fake." "No, the seal looks real." To certificates. Who's lying? The world that once worshipped her was now tearing itself apart. Fans fought. The media swarmed. The truth became a weapon, slicing in every direction. By midnight, reporters were camping outside her agency. Cameras shoved into Chin's face as he barked. No comment. My phone buzzed again. Her name on the screen. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity, or maybe cruelty, made me swipe. Her voice cracked through the line. "Why? Why would you do this?" I swallowed hard. "Why? Because you erased me. Because I watched you marry another man while the world cheered. Tears filled her voice. You don't understand. I did it to survive. The investors demanded it. Luhan was part of the deal. I didn't want him. I wanted you. I laughed bitterly. You wanted both. But I'm not a secret you can tuck away while you chase the spotlight. Please. She begged. Take it down. Say it was fake. I'll fix this. Just don't destroy me. Destroy you. My voice shook. You destroyed me the moment you held up the certificate with him. You chose fame over us. This is just the truth. There was silence on the line. Then a broken whisper. I still love you. The words almost shattered me. Almost. But then, I remembered Chin's smirk, the headlines, the endless nights waiting for her to come home. You don't love me, I said softly. You love the world that loves you. I hung up before she could answer. The next day, chaos rolled. News channels dissected every angle. Some painted me as a hero exposing lies. Others called me a bitter ex trying to ruin her. Her fans split half, defending her, half cursing her name. Chin called me himself. His voice dripped venom. You think you've won. You've just dragged yourself into the fire. Do you think the industry will forgive you? Do you think anyone will hire a man who humiliated their queen? I don't care. I snapped. I'm done living in her shadow. He laughed coldly. We'll bury you. But for the first time, his threats didn't scare me. That evening, Shinu showed up at my apartment. She looked nothing like the goddess on billboards. Her makeup was smeared. Her eyes swollen from crying. Please, she whispered, standing in my doorway. Talk to me. I didn't move. There's nothing left to say. She reached for me, her hands trembling. I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought I could protect us both. Protect us. My voice cracked. You turned me into a ghost. And when I begged for scraps of your love, you gave me lies instead. Tears streamed down her face. I was wrong. I know that now. But if you don't stop, everything I built will crumble. They'll destroy me. For a moment, I almost reached out, almost wiped her tears like I used to. But then I saw Luhan's smile flashing in my mind. The certificate held up for the world to see. You wanted the world, I whispered. Now face it. I closed the door. Her sobs echoed in the hallway as I sank against the wood, my chest aching. My hands shook. But I didn't regret it. For the first time in years, I had spoken loudly enough for the world to hear. And for the first time in years, I wasn't invisible. Chapter 8, Her Fall. My awakening asterisk. The storm didn't stop. Each day brought a new headline, sharper than the last. Film. Queen in double marriage scandal. Brands cut ties with Lee Shinu. Luhan distances himself amid controversy. I watched it unfold like someone watching a house burn. Except it wasn't just any house, it was the palace I had once been proud to help build, even if from the shadows. And now, the flames devoured everything. Commercials replaced her face overnight. Movies she had filmed were shelved. Sponsorships vanished. And worst of all, Luhan, the golden boy she'd been paired with, released a statement. I had no knowledge of her past. I was deceived as much as anyone. One clean sentence. And he walked away unscathed. She, on the other hand, was drowning. I sat in my apartment, scrolling through the chaos. For weeks I had dreamed of this moment, the world finally seeing the cracks I had carried alone. But instead of joy, all I felt was emptiness. Wei noticed it too. He slapped the phone out of my hand one night. Why do you look miserable? This is what you wanted, isn't it? I thought it was. I admitted, my voice hollow. You exposed her. You got your justice. Then why do I feel like I lost everything? Wei's anger softened. He leaned back, sighing. Because revenge doesn't heal betrayal. It just feeds it. His words stuck in my chest. The next day, Shinu called again. I almost ignored it, but something in me wanted to hear her voice. When I answered, she sounded broken. They've dropped me from everything. Chin's fired. My agency wants nothing to do with me. I can't even walk outside without cameras chasing me. I stayed silent. Please, she whispered. I need you. I closed my eyes. You needed me when you held his hand on that stage. You needed me when you waved that certificate in front of the world. But you didn't choose me then." Her voice cracked. "I was wrong. I thought I could have both the world and you. But I can't. And now I've lost everything." Something inside me twisted. I had wanted her to feel regret, to feel the pain I carried. But hearing her broken, I didn't feel triumph. I felt tired. "Shinu," I said softly. "You didn't just lose the world. You lost me." There was silence, then a whisper. "I still love you." I let out a bitter laugh. "You love what I gave you, my silence, my patience, my devotion. But you didn't love me. If you did, you wouldn't have buried me alive." Her sobs filled the line. I almost hung up, but I forced myself to listen. She deserved at least that. Finally, she said, "What do you want from me?" "I don't want anything," I replied. "Not anymore." When I hung up, the weight on my chest didn't vanish, but it shifted. I realized something. I wasn't chained to her lies anymore. That night, I walked through the city for the first time in weeks. Neon lights reflected on wet pavement. Strangers brushed past me. Life moved on. And for the first time, I felt like maybe I could. The doorway called while I was walking. "So what now? You've broken her. Do you still want her?" I looked up at the sky, the stars barely visible through the smog. "No. I want myself back." Silence hung between us for a moment. Then Wei said quietly, "That's the first smart thing you've said in months." I laughed softly, the sound surprising even me. The next morning, another headline exploded. "Li Shinu apologizes publicly, begs forgiveness." I clicked on the video. She stood in front of cameras, makeup free, her eyes swollen from crying. Her voice shook as she said, "I betrayed trust. I betrayed love. I was wrong." Reporters shouted questions. She bowed deeply, again and again, until her knees hit the ground. For a moment, my heart ached. That was the woman I once loved, the one who whispered to me in the dark, the one who promised forever. But then I remembered how easily she traded me away. I closed the video. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the need to wait for her. I didn't feel the need to be her shadow. The fire of revenge had burned her down, but it also burned away the chains on me. And in the ashes, I saw something I had forgotten long ago, my own reflection. Chapter 9. Walking away *. The day I finally saw her again, the city was buzzing with pity and gossip. She had become a ghost in her own kingdom, no longer on posters, no longer trending as the goddess everyone adored. Just another headline. "Fallen star," she asked to meet one last time. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We sat in a quiet cafe, far from the flashing cameras. She wore a plain sweater, no makeup, her hair tied back. For the first time in years, she looked human, fragile, tired, broken. Her eyes met mine. "Thank you for coming." I sipped my coffee, keeping my voice steady. "Say what you need to say." She swallowed hard, her fingers trembling around the cup. "I wanted to tell you I'm sorry, truly. I thought I could carry both worlds, my career and our marriage. But in trying to hold everything, I lost it all, and I lost you." Her words cut, but the blade no longer bled me dry. I leaned back. "You didn't just lose me. You threw me away. You buried me so deep. I almost forgot who I was." Tears welled in her eyes. "If I could go back, you can't." I shook my head. "We can't rewrite the past. We can only live with it." Silence stretched between us. She reached across the table, her hand shaking. Do you still love me?" I stared at her hand, then at the woman who had once been my whole world. My chest tightened, but the answer came clear. "I love the memory of who you were, but I can't love the person who betrayed me." Her hand froze, slowly. She pulled it back, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I never stopped caring for you," she whispered, "even now." I sighed. "Maybe you did care, but love without loyalty is just a pretty lie. And I've lived in lies long enough." She broke down then, silent sobs shaking her shoulders. Once, I would have reached for her, held her, promised her the world. But now, I just watched. The man who had once existed only for her was gone. I stood. Goodbye, Shinu. She looked up desperately. Please don't go. I shook my head. I already stayed too long. And with that, I walked out of the cafe. The sound of her sobs fading behind me died outside. The air felt sharper, clearer. For the first time in years, I wasn't hiding in anyone's shadow. I was simply me. Wei met me later that night. So, done. I said firmly. He studied me for a moment, then smiled faintly. You look lighter. I feel lighter. I exhaled. For years, I thought my life depended on her, that without her, I was nothing. But I was wrong. She was the one who needed me to keep her secrets. I was never the weak one, I was just blind. Wei clapped me on the shoulder. Then it's time to live. For yourself this time. I nodded. The next morning, I tore the certificate into pieces. Both of them hers with Luhan, and mine with her. Paper that once chained me now fluttered into the trash. Powerless as I watched the scraps fall. I whispered, you can't erase me. I won't erase myself, the weight I had carried for. 3 years slipped from my shoulders. Pain lingered. Yes, scars never vanish. But beneath the scars, I found strength. And for the first time, I wasn't waiting for someone to claim me. I was claiming myself, walking out of that apartment. I didn't look back. The city lights glowed. Strangers hurried past. Life pulsed all around me. And I realized the truth. Sometimes the greatest love story isn't about holding on. It's about finally letting go.